So if you've got someone who's been through a family of origin that's just been a mess, like a lot of them just swear off marriage altogether. Of just like, forget that. Like, I know what that thing has to offer. Why would I even want to be so naive and stupid as to think that it's going to be just sunshine and roses and rainbows and lollipops and everything? So how do you speak to restore hope to somebody who's come from a broken family? I remember one saint said that you cannot build one family upon the ruins of another. And so how do you heal your family of origin when that's in many respects beyond your control? Like, you can't put your parents back together. You can't have a dysfunctional, relationship with siblings just fixed like that. So how do you speak to those who are coming from that, who may want to aspire to a holy marriage, but doubt that they're capable of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And again, that's my own experience of coming from a family where my parents divorced and there was infidelity on my father's part. And I didn't realize my need for healing until I was like in my late 20s. Uh, and then when I started to deal with it, I realized how intense it was. And like we started off with, sooner or later you're going to have to deal with it. And there are those who don't want to get married. I remember when I was teaching, one of the students, we had a debate in the class. I was teaching in the community college, and we had somebody debating cohabitation versus marriage. And the person who was on the side of cohabitation said, my parents got divorced 3 times. I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to bring my children into that. And the person who was in the debate said, did you just hear what you said? You're not going to bring your children into an environment where they could go through a divorce, but you're going to bring your children into a situation where there's going to be one man after another because you're never going to make a commitment. And can't you see the damage that that's going to cause your children even more than the damage that was caused to you? And so again, on either side of that, however we cope with it, the brokenness has to be dealt with. And it's not easy to deal with that. It's, for me, in my life, as I started to walk through it, there's a lot of intense pain. It's not too different going through a divorce and experiencing sexual abuse, because this trust that you had, this security that you had, is just ripped. There's just this rupture of trust. And the situations you talked about where there's just bickering and constant fighting and difficulty, there's no security there. There's no sense of rest. There's no sense of feeling safe and trust. And so, whether it's sexual abuse or whether it's that kind of environment, the healing process is pretty similar. They're different issues, but it's still a pretty similar process. And those deeper areas of the heart where the trust was broken, where there wasn't security, need to be addressed and restored. And again, it's a combination of people walking there, feeling safe enough to walk there, to be able to share it, to be able to grieve it, but also to encounter Jesus there in a real way, not in a just kind of a pietistic way, but in a real way of experiencing love where there wasn't love.
What does it often take for a person to get to the point where they actually come to you with this? I would imagine sometimes they're decades within their marriage, not being the mom they want to be or the dad they want to be, not being the spouse they want to be, and just being like, what the heck? Like, why am I beating my head against a wall? And I just feel like I have these good desires to build something, but I'm utterly incapable of it, and all this stuff just bubbles. Is it usually get to that point where just like, they didn't get the healing when they really needed it, shortly after the fact of all this happened or during it, but years down the road when this is just this impediment to the life that they know that they deserve? Is that usually when they finally show up at your doorstep looking for the help?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have people coming to conferences, and I'm not sure how they all get there. But as a counselor, as a therapist, there would be all kind of different situations. There would either be a crisis in their marriage that brought them there, or they have a depression, or they're struggling with anxiety. In my case, I went into therapy because I was starting to have panic, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I knew the situations, but it didn't fit. And I didn't realize that the panic that I was having, the anxiety that I was having, was related to the abandonment from my dad when he left, which was 20 some years earlier, that I had never grieved. And so, the symptoms are going to be there, but they can look really different, and they don't necessarily look like the areas that need to be healed. In that case, anxiety didn't look like abandonment. But underneath that anxiety was all that pain.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that little clip, but if you want to see the whole episode where this came from, just click the link here. And in the meantime, we want to invite you to help us share this message, and there's a couple things you can do real quick. Number one, if you like or comment or share this video, YouTube will actually show it to more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We release videos every single day, and you'll be notified as soon as those come out. If you want to help us also to spread this message, you can support us at patreon.com/Jason Evert. That helps us to create these videos and show them to the whole world. God bless.